Hey, you sick, twisted freaks, it's Roley. How you doing? Welcome to the show. So right out of the gate, I've got to apologize for not doing a podcast last week. I kind of had a little bit of a glitch in the system here. I had a little bit of a. I mean, I'm not going to go so far to say it was a mental health thing, but I really just I kind of went deep into a ditch last week, and things that should have been simple were not simple. And when things that should be simple tie themselves in Gordian knots, it tends to frustrate me. And then I end up going into this vortex of suck that, it's very hard to get out of for me every once in a while. And last week was one of those weeks. So that is why I didn't do a podcast, because when I get that way, I'm already ranty, but you did not need or want the special flavor of crazy that probably would have come out of my mouth had I turned on a microphone and said, well, let me tell you about yourselves, people. You don't need that. So I'm not going to do that. I reserve my scorn and sarcasm and bad attitude for, people in above my pay grade. Let's just put it that way. Above, I'm talking to you. You and I are down here, in the gutter, basically. I reserve my contempt for the people that deserve it, and you're not one of them. So that's where we are right now. So anyway, I've gotten out of that, and I feel better. So this is going to be the last podcast of the year, and I don't really have anything structured. But I am going to tell a couple of stories. And the first one is one that the first story that I want to talk to you about, because it is the 18th, and very shortly we're going to have the winter solstice on the 21st generally. And it's the shortest day of the year. And there's a story that a man told once that, while I don't remember it word for word, I'm going to paraphrase it because it has moved me so much over the years, and we're talking at least 10 years since I heard this the first time. That you can have your New Year's Eve, but for me, where it really begins is the day of the winter solstice, because it's the shortest day of the year. From there, everything is up. Everything goes up from there, right? The amount of light that you have during the day starts climbing again. Depending on where you live, temperatures might start climbing again. And I think for people in the right mindset, and I don't know what that is, I'm just going to tell you what I feel. That's the day when we should start thinking about all those new things we want to try, or the new people that we want to be. And remember, we're not the same today as we were a year ago, 2 years ago, definitely 3 years ago. I mean, we're coming up on the third anniversary of the pandemic, when we were all sent home. And this has been the most trying time in the world for me. I've mentioned this before on the podcast. The pandemic has cost me a lot of things. And the last of which took a long time to get to, was my mental health. I'm in a very different situation from other people, because I have a son that had a brain injury and checked out for about 5 minutes. And when he came back, he had a brain injury. He can't see, but he had three things happen to him at the same time. And it was basically like a bomb went off in his body. That's why he checked out 5 minutes, and why he today is, I will say, 95% the person that he was before the accident, but he can't see and has gross motor function problems that we have been fighting for physical therapy and occupational therapy for. You know, if you've ever fought with an insurance company, you know how wonderful, how much of a festival that can be. So over the past 3 years, because, well, you know, we going out in public and being with people who don't want to pay attention, well, either haven't paid attention or don't want to pay attention to what's going on around them, especially in the height of the pandemic. We had thousands of people dying every day. And look, I'm not here to argue with you about the science. If you want to argue about the science, get your own podcast, okay? I am telling you where I'm at. It was terrifying to think about bringing something home to my son. You know, I mean, he in fact, he's fine. He's fine. But back then we were concerned that, because he was still coming out of this hole that he was in, and we were worried that he might have been compromised, and it terrified us to go out into the world and bring something home that would not only potentially put my son back in the hospital, but potentially would end him. And my requirements are small. Okay, is that, you know, there's a roll call, okay? And that roll call is Colin, Devin, and Morrigan. And as long as all three of them say, here, I'm good. Okay? I went into this situation with 3 kids. I've come out with 3 kids, and that's all I care about. Okay? And I'm not here to argue with anyone. I that part of my life is done, because it's wasting energy. It's hurting cats. It's wrestling pigs. I do not have the energy or the inclination to get into the mud and argue with people who either, you know, they're unable or unwilling to see the other side of a story. So no, I'm not interested in stupid games like that. But as the time has gone on and the existential dread set in, because, you know, I am a Gen Xer and that's kind of our calling card, it became harder and harder to interact with people. And I will tell you how much that's affected me. I work with a great bunch of people. I honestly do. I have a new job that I started working in June of this year. It is a great job. It appeals. It massively appeals to my overinflated sense of right and wrong. And yeah, I do have that. And if you know my backstory, you know why. And it's a good fit for me. And the people that I work with are fantastic. They all have a great sense of humor, and they're all dedicated to, you know, the cause that we're working. And I think it is a cause. I'm not going to go into a great amount of detail here, but it's not a normal job. I went into this not believing it was a normal job. I think it was something beyond. I think it's something above, because the people that we are serving are people that deserve our respect. So for me, it's not a normal job. That's all you get, guys, okay? But even the interactions that I have with people, I can chat with you all day long and my sense of humor will come out. But it has been very hard for me to talk to on a call, for instance. It's hard for me to talk to people. And you say, well, you're doing a podcast. Yeah, because I'm talking to a microphone, okay? And as long as I imagine that I'm talking to a microphone, I'm good. But the microphone doesn't talk back. Now, only the voices in your head do that. Yeah, I know. Thanks. And I have found that I have kind of a time limit. First of all, I am the guy in the meeting that is afraid that he is going to open his mouth and say something stupid. So I generally don't say things in meetings. I listen, because listening in those things is way more important. Aside from the fact that, as I said, I am the guy who's definitely afraid I am going to open my mouth and say something really stupid, and then and there's a public humiliation factor with that I'm just not ready to deal with. So, and there's also kind of a time limit. Now, there are, people that I talk to, I get along with them great. They're fantastic. They're this, but there's a little time limit in the back of my head that says, you know what, you need to put your head back down and go back to work, or you need to, this is, I can just feel the heartbeat going faster and the sweat starting to be, and it's not an anxiety attack or anything like that. It's just that I really want to not be talking anymore. And for somebody who, most of my friends growing up and most of, Rabbit's friends and relations will tell you that it's hard to shut me up. It used to be. I have trouble continuing to talk these days. And part of it's because, like I said, I'm afraid I'm going to say something stupid. And the other part, which kind of goes hand in hand with that, is I don't know everything. And, well, nobody's accusing you of that. No, it's just that in a normal situation, i.e., not this podcast, you're not coming here to hear me talk. You're not coming there to hear me talk. So I'm just going to keep my fucking mouth shut. And I'm going to listen, because that's how I learn things. I can't learn things if I'm rambling. Like this. Shut up. So I've been dealing with all of this. And again, the winter solstice is a perfect opportunity to declare an end to a chapter and the beginning of a new one. Not New Year's Eve, because a couple of reasons. I think this is much more appropriate, as I said before, I think. But two, everybody else does it on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, right? And they're all at the gym for 2.5 weeks before they give up. They're all or they're all, going cold turkey until they give up. They're all, I'm not going to drink ever again until they do. Going to follow Stephen A. Smith's advice and stay off the weed until they do. And boy, oh my God. I cannot stand the smell of that shit. I'm sorry. It physically makes me ill. And there's a family 2 doors down from me that apparently that's how they like to, kick back on the weekends. Okay. And I get behind people in the car. I didn't think you were supposed to be able. I really honestly thought it was against the law to drive on weed. Or that, how can you not smell that? Officer. I think they made it a secondary thing. You can't just pull somebody over just because, well, they smelled like weed going by. I think, it's like it used to be a secondary offense if you didn't have your seatbelt on. I think it's a primary offense now. They can pull you over if they see that you don't have your seatbelt on. But it used to be if they pulled you over for something else and you didn't have your seatbelt on, they could write you a ticket. I don't know if that's changed, but I think it did. So it is time to turn a page. And it is time to start something new. I don't know what that is yet. It is the next new normal, as far as I'm concerned. We'll call it that because we've had so many new normals at this point. It's crazy. We will call it the next new normal, or my next new normal. I have been a creature of evolution for a long, long time. My hair's been every color under the rainbow. In related news, I'm going bald. What? I've actually just took a number one blade to my head, and now I'm just got a crew cut, buzz cut, and that's the way it's staying because I just can't fuck with it anymore. I honestly feel, and I know this is going to sound really rah crystal hugging, tree licking, tree frog licking bullshit, but I really feel there is a change about to happen. An ex-girlfriend of mine actually alluded to this not too long back, maybe a couple of months ago. She listened to what I was saying, or she heard something that I was saying on a podcast or on a video, and she said, "You are about to have a breakthrough." And I told her, "Break down, maybe." But no, she's probably right. I am about to have a breakthrough of some kind. I think it's happening. So I don't know what to tell you just yet. It's time to put my head down and figure it out, which is what I'm going to do for the next 2 or 3 weeks. That kind of reminds me of the old All in the Family with Archie Bunker and Edith had menopause and says, "It's all right if you want to change, but you got to do it right now." Okay. I'm not going to change. This is not a regeneration. I don't I don't stretch my hands out, start glowing, and blow up. That's not what's happening here. But I've been many people throughout my life. And I think it is time to embrace whatever. So that the new guy, whoever he is, I know this sounds really like a regeneration. I'm the doctor. Maybe that's why I like Doctor Who so much. Something else. It's time to turn my attention and everything. It's time to turn everything inward and concentrate on who this person is going to be. There are things about me that remain, whether or not whoever I am, and if you know me, you know what they are. I lose sight of it every now and again, but you got to protect your core, as somebody said. I'm sure they were talking about abs, but I think it's something deeper. The testicles? Shut up. Why would you even? I'm just trying to help. Thanks. So, yeah, I'd like to end this episode with saying, in a manner of speaking, that I wish that for you. I hope that if you're going through some trouble, even if you're not, but just work with me here. If you're reaching out for something that is next or something that is true, I hope it's easier for you. I hope you find what you're looking for. or find the person that you're supposed to be. I hope you embrace that person. And I hope that the new year brings you good fortune and good health and mental health. And I hope that the new year brings, for all of us, a little bit more ease about getting back into the world and embracing whatever our next new normal is. So that'll do it for this year. See you in the future. Huh? Some housekeeping before we end. I am going to, in the new year, this is one of the things that I can tell you is going to happen right off the bat, is that I am going to dedicate the central point of all my content creation, be it podcasts, be it whatever, will all be at my website, chrisroley.com, KRISROLEY.com. It's time to, pardon me, it's time to return to basics. Because social media has become a toxic hell stew, and I'm on the way out when it comes to that stuff, to be honest with you. Am I going to leave breadcrumbs some places? Yes. I'm still on Twitter. I still have a Mastodon. I still have a TikTok. I've got some other things in the fire there, but honestly, I'm just about social media'd out. There is nothing good lately that is coming out of social media, as far as I'm concerned. Nothing good can come from what is happening now. And that's not just Elon, it's the whole spiel, the whole thing. I'm getting disillusioned with it. And I'm tired of doom scrolling. So I'm going to just center my content at chrisroley.com. There might be links on social media to stuff at my website. I think that's appropriate, but I'm just not going to allow myself to get dragged into the negative shit coming year. I don't think I can afford it, because I think that's one of the reasons I'm having the problem that I've had, that I let that in. So, chrisroley.com. If you, there is one other place that you will see content of one sort or another, and that is my Patreon page. Now, after the first of the year, I am going to turn the paywall on, and everything after the first of the year will be a $5 a month price to see the premium content that's in there. And that's it, as far as that's concerned. Everything up to January 1st is free and will remain that way, so you can see what you're getting into if you'd like. I'm going to leave that up in public so you can hear it and then decide what you want to do if you are so inclined. I don't want to be the guy that beats it like it owes me money, because I've never been the dude that's like the hella promoter. It strikes me as being a bad salesman. So I'm just going to mention on the podcast, and maybe every once in a while somewhere else, I don't know. If you like what I do and you want to support what I do here, then support me through Patreon. The other thing, yeah, that's it. Because the other thing would be a Medium article, but Medium ain't what it used to be. And you'd have to be a member of Medium's premium content program, which is $5 a month, in order to help with my monetized articles. So either way, it's $5 a month. It just depends on if you're paying it directly to me or if you're paying it into a pot that gets distributed through everybody that's on Medium that's part of the partner program. So we'll just cut out the middleman and bring the savings directly to... Right. Now, there it is. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful New Year. I hope you have a wonderful Hanukkah, or whatever holiday you celebrate. They're all in there. Go in peace, and Vaya con Dios. Stay solid. Bye-bye.